for a long time, and I will introduce you the KNX RF technology and the companies that are developing KNX RF devices and have products right now on the market. So this is the overview on the first presentation about the advantages, the technology, what you have to know about the planning, and about the topology and the ETS commissioning. That is not so much difficult. So I have to put this away. Okay, so let's start. One of the advantages is that you can use the KNX RF devices as you have used it, the TP devices for now also in your product. There are many kind of possible solutions. It's a very easy and seamless integration. You can use the KNX RF devices in your ETS 5 and the demo in the Professional, in the lights, and also in the ETS Inside. You can find the devices in the product catalog. Compared to other systems, you don't have any media break anymore. That means that the media coupler is directly connected to the KNX devices, and you can go with the ETS directly to the KNX RF to program, to parameter, and to have diagnostic, and you don't have to have any couplers where you only have to program it from one side. You can use it in residential and commercial buildings. There are a lot of decentralized functionalities, and it is an international worldwide standard. There are many different kinds of names and marketing names on the market. We are talking about the KNX RF 1.R S mode. S mode means all devices are integrated in the ETS. What you have to think about, the KNX devices just send when there is a button pressed or there are some informations that are important for the bus system, then they are sending. That is compared to other RF devices or systems, maybe your mobile phone in your pocket. It is sending all the time, and it's connected to the RF cell. When you have KNX RF devices, this is important that the devices are inside the circle where it is transmitted. And the other thing is, before the telegram is sent, the RF is looking outside. If there is some traffic on the system in the air, so to say, and the telegram is only sent for one time. In KNX RF, we are using the frequency shift keying, and that means you have a carrier signal, and on the carrier signal there is a modulated signal, and this is information. So we come to the damping. The damping means that the signal is getting lower and if it's crossing any walls. So as you know from other systems, when you have some metal, the metal is the worst thing. So it's not possible to send any telegrams, or you get no radiation through any metal or shields or leaded glass, for example. When you think about the planning, you have to have the senders, for example, in the middle of the building. So it's possible to have a tool that we'll see later on, where you have an app for the ETS, where you can check how good is the transmission to the explicit devices. And another thing is, when you are sending through many walls, the damping is very high, and the radiation is not going through more than 2 or 3 walls. but it's possible to have some kind of repeaters, and the repeaters are connected. I will show you later on. So general rules for the planning. Avoid reflections. It will extinct the radio signal. You have to think about the construction circumstances. For example, if you have floor heating systems or a lot of steel in the concrete, in the ceiling or in the floor, do not install, that this might be very clear, do not install KNX devices direct on metal plates or something like that. The antenna must be really free. When you install them, don't fold the antenna if there's an antenna on the device, and also keep distance to things that could interfere, like engines or transformers or microwave. So this is what I'm talking before. When you have an underfloor heating, for example, it's usually not possible to get the radio signal from one floor to the other floor. So it is possible to have a media coupler or a repeater when you have in one floor many devices, or you have a big distance. So you use in one floor a repeater, and through the floors, through the concrete, you need to have, for example, another media coupler, and the media couplers are connected by the bus wire, the TP wire, and you need to have a power supply. You can usually program it also, I will show you later on, through KNX RF with a USB stick, or you can program it from the USB, from the TP side, with an USB TP interface. When you think about when you have more, for example, one family living in the first floor, the next family is living in the second floor, then it should not be possible that one device is disturbing the other device, or when you're switching the light in the living room, that from Miss Müller, then you not sending telegrams to the other floor. So for this, in the ETS, there is a so-called domain address. This domain address can be automatically generated by the ETS. You see in the point 4, maybe 00 FA, and so on. And you can also think about your own description about this domain address. So you can give, for example, 0011 or what you like. So these devices will be programmed with the domain address. And so one family cannot, no one, from one floor to the other floor, you cannot disturb the other one. So they are physically not possible to send any telegrams from one floor to the other floor. So one thing we have in the training also is that we have an ETS, and then we have the USB stick, and we program from the USB stick directly to the KNX RF devices. And you can use the ETS 5 Professional, you can use the ETS inside, yeah, but you can also test it with the light or with the ETS demo. You can, in one line, there are 265 devices, included the media coupler. And when you have to have an additional line, you need another one of the media coupler, and then it goes on with the next 265. So you usually don't need a TP line or something like that, or a media coupler. You can build your own project only with a USB interface for your PC, and with the devices that you usually have for your KNX RF. So the commissioning is like this. For example, on the right side, you have example for shutter controls or windows. There is from Elsner, there's a remote control and an actuator that is working with RF. You just have only one side, the power. On the other side, you have a connection to a shutter control. And on the downside, you have the USB stick and you're connected to your PC. And then you program your devices. And then you go away with your laptop and with the USB. And the program is finished. Other possibilities, on the left side, you see what I'm talking about before. You connect your ETS with the USB stick from RF, and then you can program your KNX RF devices, but also you can program the TP devices, and you also can connect your TP line with the IP router to another IP line, and it's also possible to program from the ETS side to the IP side. Next possibility in the middle is you can use an TP USB interface, and then you can program not only the TP devices that you have in your bus connected, you can also program the KNX RF devices with a media coupler or also on IP. And on the right-hand side, you can program over IP, connected with an IP router to the TP line, and the TP line is connected to RF. And also you can see that you can have a remote commissioning. You can sit in your office and connect to the project of your customer. And then you can not only program the TP, you can also program the RF. So let's have a look into the ETS. The KNX RF devices are all in the ETS also. You can, the handling of the KNX RF is the same like you know about the TP devices that you use usually. You check the catalog, then you point it over to your project, and the next step is that you take it to your room or the structure, the bus structure, the building structure. And the next step is the same like you use it usually with your TP devices. You do the parameters as usual. And you connect the group addresses. Same like your TP device, it looks all the same. And then you connect your laptop with the USB interface, and then you can program over the air, so to say, over the radio, your KNX RF devices. So I can show you that it works. Oh. Takes longer. So you see a little bit example. This is our KNX education set. And you see the difference here. You see the symbol for the RF. It is a little bit like a radio. And these are the Twistedpair. The box is just white. And then you choose the device. Go to download application, and before you have to check if the interface is connected, and then you download the application. So sad, I have no webcam. But you have to believe me. So let's go to the second part. This presentation is for the overview about the manufacturers and the products that are possible now on the market. So the first manufacturer is AFRICOM. I'm going alphabetical order. We have AFRICOM has an interface for KNX RF and has a media coupler. Then the company Elsner has a remote control. They have they're usually specialized on drives for shutter control, for shading, for windows. And so they have made a concept for very easy connecting the engine, the motor to 230 volts. And it's a standardized connector that is usually used for the shading. So the one device is connected directly to the engine, then one device, that MSG2 can connect two motors simultaneously, and MSG DST can transmit the 230 volts to the next window. They also have a USB stick and they have a media coupler. Then the company Tira, they have a push button program for different applications. They also have some kind of media coupler, and this media coupler can also be a repeater. They have a USB stick for programming, and they have a remote control in 4 buttons and 8 buttons. So the company Jung has on-wall mounted push button program, and they have also a flush mounted push button program, and they have the same media coupler in the same group. The company MDT has a bigger range. They have also a media coupler, and they have a push button program in glass, in white and in black for 4-fold and 8-fold. And they have different kind of flush mounted push buttons that have also an actuator integrated. And they have also a push button interface where you can connect, for example, motion detectors, and you can give the information on radio frequency. And they have a relay actor and a shutter control actor, and specialized there is a socket adapter that is integrated to metering the power. And this information can all be given so now directly to KNX to your system. The company TapCore has developed an application that can be integrated on the ETS. You can find it on the KNX shop. And you see the fields are red, green, yellow, orange. And it's checking the strength of the radio signal. So you can check in the project directly when you connect to the USB or you connect to the media coupler how good the telegrams can be received by the different devices. The company Winecellar has developed also a push button inlet that is fitting to the Elsner program. The USB stick you can also program with the USB stick from Winecellar, and you have a different kind of media coupler that is now also integrated into the Secure. The company SetF has also an energy saving push button module. It's inserted into also in the Elsner housings. And you can connect now directly with the KNX RF devices directly to the push button, and you don't need any batteries. But my colleague will show you to this also in the second part. The KNX Association has designed a flyer for KNX RF with all the advantages and an overview about the products. Thank you very much. So I will handle over, or Jesus will handle over to my friend.
Yes. Thank you, Peter, for the comprehensive explanation about the KNX RF from the system integration point of view. Just one highlight that a brochure flyer with the KNX RF was made last year for light and building, and fortunately there are more KNX RF products since then, so we will update it soon with new products. Now I'm gonna hand over the presentation to Marcus, so get ready, please. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Marcus, we can see your screen and your mouse moving around. So please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter, for all your information and the introduction of KNX RF. So we at ZF will now show you and present you the advantage of a battery-free solution, which we have developed already some time ago, and which we have already shown at Lighted Building Fair. So it's a very clever concept, and my colleague Jana, who is our product marketing manager, will give you some further details showing all the advantages of our development, and we'll also give you this introduction how easy the integration of the ZF module can be made in the ETS 5. So I will hand over to Jana.
Yes, hello everyone, also from my side. So my name is Jana Pillhofer. Together with Markus Bachmeier, I'm taking care of the energy harvesting solutions here at ZF. Yeah, we welcome you also, and thank you for your interest in our presentation. And yeah, after our presentation, please feel free to ask your questions. And also thank you from my side to Peter for the introduction of KNX RF. So we would like to show you as a start our contribution to KNX RF. So ZF is a manufacturer of energy harvesting solutions. Our engineers have developed an inductive generator that creates about 330 microjoules just by one push. And our energy harvesting product range now also includes, for several years now, I think we have introduced it at Light and Building 2014 already, a KNX RF self-powered wireless push-button module. So for direct communication with KNX RF without gateway. So this is a push-button module, for example, to switching lights or on and off, or to control blinds. The module is based on our generators, on our energy harvesting generator. So this means it is completely maintenance-free. No batteries need to be replaced. You don't have to lay additional wiring. And yeah, this makes it very easy to install, even in inaccessible places or on glass walls, for example. The module is completely configurable via the ETS 5 software. I will show you that later on. And it is enabled for direct communication with other KNX RF devices, bearing in mind that we also use this KNX RF 1.RS mode protocol. So what you can see on this slide, the black one, is our push button module. It is compatible with standard frames and panels for energy harvesting switch modules, but it can also be combined with customer specific designs on request. Yeah, as mentioned, it uses the KNX RF 1.RS mode protocol. And just some technical details from our side. The module has in buildings an RF distance of up to 30 meters. This depends, of course, on the surroundings, so on the type and consistency of the construction material, as Peter has explained in his presentation. Yeah, the damping is has a huge impact. So metal, of course. Yeah, the module is also developed for minimum 100,000 switching cycles in buildings. That is typically sufficient, and also for a temperature range from -20 to +45 degrees. Together with the module, we have developed a programming adapter, because the module itself is battery-free, but for the configuration process, we always need a bidirectional communication with ETS, and therefore we need this programming adapter. So yeah, it provides the necessary power for the programming mode during setup only, or if you want to make changes afterwards within the application. It has two AAA batteries enclosed, and if you're plugging the programming adapter on the module, which you can see on the right picture of this slide, it directly activates the push buttons pairing mode. On the next slides, we just want to show you the integration of our product into the ETS and the different functions you have. So yeah, you can either use the module as a 2-channel module, or also 5 or 6 channels are possible. So first of all, of course, you need to select the product in the ETS catalog. You can find it under ZF generic push button. You select it, and then you decide whether you want to have a 2-channel switch or 4 or 6 channel switch. If you want to have this 2-channel switch, you can decide if you want a switch, or so a light switch, if you want to control lights on or off, if you want to have shutters to be yeah, controlled up and down. And yeah, this is the general function as a two-channel switch. You can also see here on the next slide that you can decide for each rocker which functionality it should have. So if the upper rocker should have the light on or off, and also for the rocker below to define the concrete functionality. So, but the general function of this push button module is as a 4 or 6 fold switch. So in general, we have, of course, 4 push points, but you can have 6 functions as well if you press 2 buttons at the same time for the function 5 and 6, let's say. So here you can see the definition itself. So you have to define for the left rocker, would you like to use it for switching or as a shutter or for dimming? You can define the same for the right rocker, and then the functionality 5 and 6 for left and right rocker when they are pushed together at the same time. And also here you can, for each rocker, then define the concrete action. So for the switch function, for example, should it be a switch on press, so simply on and off, or would you like to toggle on press? And also for dimming, for example, should the upper rocker make the light brighter or darker, and also the other rocker, which functionality it should have in the end. So yeah, this is what you can do in the ETS with our product. So you define your parameters, And when configured in the ETS, the parameters can afterwards be loaded wirelessly onto the push button module. And once the data is transferred, so when all parameters are loaded onto the push button module, the modules are entirely self-sufficient. So you then have no further maintenance work. You don't have to replace any batteries or so. So you don't need to lay any wiring around. Yeah, that's already what we wanted to show you from our side. I hope we gave you an impression of what is possible with our product. If you have any questions, I think Jesus will give us the opportunity to discuss afterwards. You can also visit our website where you can find out more on our KNX systems. And yeah, please feel free to contact us also directly if you have any further question. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Marcus and Jana, for also your input in this important topic. We have questions, now is the opportunity for the audience. Any question about KNX RF? I think this is the best opportunity today to clarify. Feel free to request the microphone, so I can open the microphone, or you can just drop the question on the chat box. If or while you think your questions, we have a short presentation from Peter about education sets for the KNX RF. Okay, but before, we have already some questions. Francois, I think is the right pronunciation. Meyer says, are all standards compatible together? Well, is there anyone who wants to reply? I could do it as well, but I think we have our guest speakers today. So, for instance, Marcus or Jana, anyone, you have the microphones open now. Marcus and Peter, could you please reply to this question?
Okay, so maybe I'm going to try. All standards, no, not all standards. It's the KNX RF standard, and in this point, it is the KNX RF standards 1RF. So that I showed you before in my presentation. There are many different kind of RFs that are used in technologies, and also maybe Hager has an own standard, and ABB has an own standard. They're working on RF, but if you need the compatibility to the ETS, it's only possible with the KNX RF 1RS mode.
So all products are qualified and specified for this KNX RF mode. These are compatible together and can be normally programmed by the ETS.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, thank you. Just to maybe some clarification, there was in the past other KNX RF, but which was not fully compatible from within the ETS. Maybe that could bring some confusion, but since the KNX RF specifications were redefined, and now we have the KNX RF system mode products that are fully compatible among them, and that they can be programmed via the ETS.
Yes.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, in the meantime, I'll make Peter again presenter so he can show us that nice initiative about the presentation or the education kits.
Okay, thank you. So, I need some. It's on the way. So we started last year to create so-called education sets for KNX RF S mode to show customers and people how easy it is to program and to work with the KNX RF. So I want to introduce the set to you. Yeah, about the advantages for the training centers. It's concepted for the training centers. We have a lot of training centers in Europe. And then next year, there is part of the education for a basic course, also the KNX RF. So the training center can use this complete set if they like. So we have a standardized KNX training in Europe. It is included in the basic course. You can also do standalone workshops if you like for your customers. It's a consistent presentation. We have made PowerPoints for the training also. And you have the documents. We designed documents for the training. You can do the practical commissioning in different kinds. And there are, to show that it is possible to connect the different devices from different companies, we use them also. So you will see what kind. So you can show not only KNX RF with this set in the middle on the left side. You can also have a look on Twistedpair. You can have also the IP integration, and you can show the customers and your students how easy it is to program with the ETS over IP or over TP and over RF. What software you can use? You can use the ETS Professional. It's also possible with the ETS Lite, and it's also possible, that's very interesting, with the ETS Demo, because it's possible to have one project with 5 devices, and it is only 5 devices on this, not only, but it's 5 devices on the wall. You can use it with for workshops. You can use it also for ETS inside workshops, because the product databases are inside the database of the ETS inside, and you can have KNX RF workshops also. What products are included? In the set you see on the left side, there is devices from Elsner, there are devices from MDT, and there are devices from ZF. And we have also devices from AFRICOM. We call it a central unit, but it is not a central unit because you can have it in additional. There is a media coupler, and there is a power supply and a little visualization. The visualization could be integrated into the ETS5, so you can all have it together in the ETS5. That is one of the main advantages. But you can use any visualization also, because there is a KNX IP router inside, and you can connect to any visualization that you want to use. We recommend the equipment for the workshops and for the courses, maybe 6 laptops, then 6 education sets, and one of the central, we call it central, but it isn't really a central. We call one of the central because the fastest one can then program the central unit and so on. And you can see on this iPhone the visualization, and you can also try to go over Wi-Fi with the ETS and program the Twistedpair devices. This is what it looks like. We had a workshop in Nuremberg in October last year, and in the end of October we had a workshop in Switzerland. And you see some of the participants and how the education set is used. We produced this education set in Switzerland for TapCore, and the complete set with all devices you see in the screen without the ETS on the left side. We are providing for 1,365 euros. And if you like to have the central set also, with the devices you see on the screen, it is about 1,195 euro, excluding VAT and delivery. So if you like, you can start now with the education, and you can start with your workshops with these education sets. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter. I think we can conclude this webinar here. If questions, you can contact the presenters. An email will be sent with the presentation slides, so you can find the contact details over there. And you can also contact KNX Association for sure if you have any questions about the KNX RF specifications. Other than that, thank everyone for being here with us on Friday. I hope you have a good weekend, and that you participate at the last webinar with Haga about KNX RF Multi, which is also a very interesting variation of the specifications to enhance the KNX RF. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you very much. Thank you also.